Hi, I'm Dwayne Gang from the Press Enterprise and PE.com, and we're here to talk about the controversial Liberty Quarry project proposed near Temecula. I'm here with my colleague Jeff Horstman. So Jeff, what's next on tap? I know the Board of Supervisors is considering postponing the February 14th hearing in order to go to Washington, D.C. to discuss some transportation issues. But when they do come back to the hearing, what's going to be on tap?
Well, we're going to hear a rebuttal from Granite Construction, the quarry developer, and they're going to refute a lot of the opposition testimony that describes this project as an economic and environmental disaster waiting to happen. We also might hear from anyone who didn't speak the past 2 Mondays for or against the project. You could also see the board asking questions of various speakers who might have, testified already. And then finally, they'll be in a position to vote, and all of that deliberation and that process is going to be in public. And one thing I'm curious about, Dwayne, is the supervisors really haven't tipped their hand on this. We haven't really heard any questions or comments in public that have indicated which way they're leaning on this. And so how do you see that playing out? You cover the board. I'd be curious to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, it is really interesting. It's going to be really interesting to watch. Like you said, the board hasn't really publicly said one way or the other which direction they are leaning. In both of the first 2 all-day-long hearings, the board really didn't ask any questions of anybody. They just listened and took public comment. So once they get into potentially asking some questions both of the opposition and of Granite Construction, it'll be interesting based on the tone of those questions to kind of see if we can indicate which direction the board members might be leaning. It's in essence kind of like when people go and listen to Supreme Court justices during oral arguments, and they can kind of get a sense for what direction people are leaning by the questions that they are asking. So when they do get to that point, it's going to be really interesting to watch.
Yeah, now this seems like a project, one side's going to win, one side's going to lose. I mean, it's not something that a clear-cut compromise appears visible. And so what kind of dilemmas do you see that creating? Do you see that creating dilemmas for any supervisors in particular as they decide on this? Yeah,
I definitely think that supervisors Bob Buster and Jeff Stone are certainly in the most difficult position. They're the 2 supervisors that together represent all of Southwest Riverside County between the 2 of them. And both of them are up for re-election this year. In particular, Supervisor Buster is facing 2 well-funded opponents in this race. And so he's kind of, over the years, kind of historically been the one that probably would be considered the most pro-environmental member of the Board of Supervisors. It's going to be interesting to see where he comes down on. He's definitely in a very difficult position. For example, a lot of residents surrounding the quarry in the Temecula area are very much opposed to this project. And he risks, if he votes to grant the go-ahead, grant the green light to the quarry project, he runs the risk of alienating a lot of those residents in that southwest area. On the flip side, his district incorporates lots of the city of Riverside. And the business community in Riverside and elsewhere is in support, by and large, of the quarry project. So if he votes to uphold the Planning Commission's denial, they might not be so happy with him either. So he's definitely going to be in a very difficult position. Some people probably would say it's a lose-lose situation for him, no matter how he comes down and votes on this. So I think he's going to be one to watch.
Right. And just one thing I've learned covering this issue for, I think, going on 5 years now is it's never quite over when you think it is. I think even after the board votes one way or the other, I think there's a decent possibility, particularly if they vote to allow the court to go forward, of legal action, whether it be by the city of Temecula or elsewhere, to stop this. There's also the state bill that's kind of in limbo in Sacramento that Pechanga is backing that would essentially, specifically block this project. So I think even if the board votes on it next week, which may or may not happen, it ain't over till it's over.
Right.
So and it's going to be a difficult position, and you got 2 dug-in sides, and it's
right.
Just going to be.
Well, this is definitely probably in recent years one of the most controversial project the Board of Supervisors has taken up recently. So it's definitely going to be one to watch. So stay tuned to PE.com or pick up a copy of the Press Enterprise to get all the latest on the controversial Liberty Quarry project. I'm Dwayne Gang alongside my colleague Jeff Horstman. Thanks for watching.